Well, I've entitled this video for this morning's devotional Discouragement. And I was thinking about all the people, characters in the Bible who experienced discouragement. I'm sure that after Adam and Eve succumbed to sin in the Garden of Eden, they were discouraged. I'm sure they were. I don't know how long they were discouraged, but I'm sure they were discouraged. And we can go through many of the Bible characters that come to my mind that experienced discouragement. I think probably Moses, when he came down from Mount Sinai, he was not only angry, but he was probably discouraged that he couldn't even go up and get the commandments without him building a golden calf. And I'm sure that you see that many times during the 40 years in the wilderness, how they got discouraged and even started murmuring against God. And we know that only Joshua and Caleb brought back a good report. All the other 8 spies brought back a bad report. They didn't really think that they could. They had seen God intervene in all these battles. When they saw the size of the giants, they got discouraged, didn't they? And we know how that whenever David went and into the battle line, and Goliath was there mocking God and the people of God, how they were all intimidated by the giant. They were discouraged. They thought that God would not intervene for them. And I'm sure that whenever God told Jacob to sacrifice his son Isaac, or no, wait a minute, it was Abraham to sacrifice his son Isaac, that he must have been discouraged. Showed a lot of faith that he was given to go up and follow through with that. And I'm sure Job was very discouraged. We can see that in the book of Job. We've been going through the book of Job in our morning devotions, and we see his 3 friends continually trying to give him advice over his situation. He got very discouraged. His own wife told him to curse God and die. That would make you pretty discouraged. And then we see it wasn't just the Old Testament characters that had to deal with discouragement, but many of the people in the New Testament were discouraged. Thomas, said, unless I see the fingerprints in his hands and everything else, he says, I will not believe. He was pretty down. He didn't believe that Christ had risen from the dead, And there was a time when Apostle Paul said, everyone's forsaken me. Everyone's forsaken me. And so and I'm sure that Peter was very distraught and discouraged after he denied his Lord 3 times and swear he never knew him. I'm sure that was very discouraging to him. And so, how does that apply to us? Well, if those warriors of the faith get discouraged, do you think we're exempt from getting discouraged? No, we're not. And I believe that God sometimes brings discouragement into our lives to build up our faith even that much more. Because if we're able to make it, if God so intervenes and helps us make it through those times of discouragement, when we come out on the other side, I think we're stronger. So that's kind of my thoughts this morning or this evening. This is the night, the 20th, and tomorrow's the 21st. So if you're down and discouraged, I would be less than honest to say I was leaping tall buildings with a single bound right now. There's a lot going on in our lives, It's been very tough in our business. It's been very tough. The situation with my son. The last 2 weeks have been really, really hot. Over 100 degrees most days, and we got still about another 2 weeks of this. We can complain. My son, one of his favorite songs is "Murmur Not." Wait and murmur not. It's really easy to get into murmuring, complaining, and dumping on people. And have you ever met someone that has one crisis after another? Their whole life is just one crisis after another. And I finally figured out, I'm a little slow, I finally figured out why they have all these crises. It's to get attention. To get attention. And so, anyway, that's kind of what's on my mind this morning, this evening, whenever you're listening to this. I'm going to read you a poem before I close this out. The Lord loves his children forever. An everlasting love means his love he will never sever. He's with us through the ups and downs of our life and is with us amid all the strife. Whatever his children go through, he's right there with them, aiding, supporting, and sustaining them. He intercedes for us before his Father, too, when we don't know how to pray. He's praying for you and me. So the next time you're in a trial and a major test, just cry out to Jesus and he will do the rest. We couldn't even cry out to him if we were not his daughters and sons, for they are adopted in his family. This work is already done. May the good Lord be with you. Today is my prayer. God bless.